Let's move on to our last team here. And again, Dylan, you've been chuckling about the New York Jets all night long. So we're going to be able to hear what your thoughts are. Their schedule looks like this, including one lone primetime game against the Jacksonville Jaguars in Week 16. All right, Dylan, put up or shut up. What do you got for the New York Jets?
Yeah, the New York Jets, looking at the thing, I got them saying, how do they take the next step? I mean, last year, the way that Zach Wilson finished the year was pretty solid. He was impressive, all right? He finished the year pretty strong as he went down the final stretch of his games. He was throwing balls to Braxton Berrios. They started looking good. We saw that with Sam Darnold towards the end of his Jets tenure, the right before he went into that next season. I'll pull up the numbers here in a second. Sam Darnold in the last 4 weeks of that season showed enough promise to where they're like, all right, let's go. This is definitely going to be the season he takes that jump. That was before he fell on his face and eventually got out of town. Zach Wilson needs to take that next step with the Jets. I think this is a better situation this year for the Jets than it was when they had Darnold and under placement there. This is a year for the Jets. They need to take that next step. They have a nice team, right? You have Robert Saleh, a great coach. You have a defense. You bring in weapons. They just need to take that next step. And can Zach Wilson be the answer? I mean, we still got to see it. It's only been 1 year in the league. He needs to take that next step as a quarterback in this league.
I'm not sure where you got that Zach Wilson finished the season that strong. His last game against Buffalo, he was 7 of 20 for 87 yards and a tutty.
Yeah, look at the 4 weeks before that.
That's not that good. The 19 for 33 is not good. Is not that good, but the 234 and 1 is all right. And then 14 of 22 for 102 yards against the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's not very good. And really, it's not phenomenal for Zach Wilson at the end of the season. What I was really just trying to argue about, but I do think Zach Wilson has the potential to be a very good quarterback. And unlike the Patriots, the Jets actually brought in weapons for Zach Wilson to succeed. They brought in Garrett Wilson. They have Corey Davis. They have CJ Uzama, who's a good safety net tight end. They brought in Breece Hall to pair with Michael Carter in a already pretty good run game. They brought in the protection in Laken Tomlinson to line up with hopefully Mekhi Becton and Elijah Vera Tucker. This Jets team, this Jets offense, they've done everything that they possibly could to help Zach Wilson succeed in his second year and take that next step that you were talking about. But AJ, what about this Jets defense?
This is the thing that I think will be the end-all be-all for the Jets and how they can perform. Robert Saleh, defensive-minded coach, did very well with San Francisco. And now you look at what he's brought in on the defense, adding to what they already had. We talk a lot about Baltimore last season being injured. We forget the Jets actually were pretty injured on their defensive side of the ball as well. Carl Lawson went down. LaMarcus Joyner went down. Quentin Williams spent some time injured as well. A lot of their pieces that they hung their hat on. Marcus May, who's no longer there now with the Saints. A lot of those guys were injured, and this defense never got started, really. But now you look at it, and from top to bottom, this defense can be a problem. I mean, C.J. Mosley's still there, bringing in Sauce Gardner, who, to be honest, a lot of people are ready for him to just be that number one guy. Robert Saleh has already said he's not just coming in and taking Bryce Hall's spot. Bryce Hall played pretty well last season as a quarterback as well. So you think about that fact, adding Gardner to that. We know how I feel about Jermaine Johnson. They've got a lot of solid pieces on this defense, and it stays pretty deep. So if this defense can be the factor that kind of gives their offense life, they could have a much better season. And again, this is another one of those teams I sit on the fence because they have a really tough schedule. While I do think Zach Wilson is going to step forward, have a much better season, and Vinny, I have to side with Dylan and Aaron on this one. His playing well last year wasn't in the numbers; it was in his confidence.
You're right.
It was what he was doing and kind of feeling the offense around him is kind of what happened. And now they're raving about how he's doing that with these extra weapons. Now you have different levels to the offense as well, but their schedule is so tough. And like I got excited to go look at these games, what would happen, and all right, let's see how the Jets start. And their first 4 games, if I'm not mistaken, don't they play the entire AFC North right off rip? Is that that's what? Yeah,
Baltimore,
right off rip.
Cleveland. Yeah.
So that's, to me, that's probably 2 losses at least. We don't know what Cleveland's gonna look like or what Pittsburgh will be like at week 4. I think they have a good chance in Miami. I think Green Bay and Denver's a hard point. they just have a really tough schedule, and I think that's the one thing that sets them back. So this is kind of like, for me, this is like the Golden State Warriors of last year. It's a very young squad with a lot of talent who has a tough schedule, and all the studs are not where they need to be. Looking forward next season and the season after, this is a squad that should be in the talk of the town.
I wanted to bring up one more thing on Wilson, and 5 straight games to finish his season without a pick, right? Those were without a pick.
Yeah.
You don't look at the numbers of throwing deep balls, whatever. That offense was a little bit broke, right? He was throwing to nobody besides Berrios. Tampa Bay game was nuts. That was 28-24. The Buccaneers had to come back and win that game. He kept them in it. He played good football. And I wanted to bring up what I was talking about with Sam Darnold at the end of his rookie year. He had 3 straight games at the end of his rookie season without a pick, 2 touchdowns performance, a 3 touchdown performance, 253 yards, 341 yards. He showed promise at the end of his rookie year. And I'm just saying, from a Jets fan perspective, not from a Jets fan perspective, for Jets fans out there, they've seen this narrative before. They just want to see how can he get to that next step, because Darnold couldn't get to that next step in year 2. But this year with Zach Wilson, with the weapons, he should be able to.
And the thing I like the most about what the Jets are doing with Zach Wilson, and I'm obviously, my family is big Jets fans, so it's like I have to keep myself in tune with Jets football. The biggest thing I liked about what they have done with Zach Wilson is they've done everything that they can to make him comfortable, and not even just necessarily talking about the weapons that they brought in this offseason to help him, but the play calling and the way that they're going through these games and letting Zach Wilson either win them or lose them these games. They're letting him be free. They're not keeping a leash on him. They're letting him develop as a quarterback. And obviously, he's just a rookie quarterback. So it's like you understand the struggles, but they're doing everything, and they're doing everything right in the development of Zach Wilson, whether it's building around him or calling the right plays to give him that next level, the development at the next level. And I honestly, I mean, I put out the Instagram post today, who you think is going to have the better second year, whether it be Mac Jones or Zach Wilson. And I thought to myself, I think Zach Wilson ends up having the best sophomore year out of any quarterback in the league. Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones, Davis Mills. I think that Zach Wilson has the best second-year performance out of all of those quarterbacks.
He's got the potential, and you made a very good point, because they are just letting him be free. And it's kind of the luxury that you have with the squad you had last year. Like we were talking about, everyone expects to be good. You know, that's the goal when you come in the season. But knowing where you are at a certain point last year, you let him play his game, and then you see what he does well as a QB, and you look at what you absolutely need to fix going into the next year. Now you know the best ways you can use him, all of his strengths that can be, top notch, you can really exploit defenses with, and then you bring him the weapons to make that happen. You get a really solid wide receiver in Garrett Wilson, another young guy that he can rock with next to Elijah Moore, and then you get the veteran Corey Davis, who, he'll play some football, and we know he enjoys practicing Berrios. So, and they brought in some good tight ends too with CJ Uzomah as well. So this is Brees.
Don't forget Tyler Conklin. They brought in Tyler Conklin.
I didn't know you wanted me to stay on the tight ends. I was just gonna...
No, I even forgot about that. Like I even forgot. Like Tyler Conklin, not like someone that we should obviously talk long about, but like Conklin had a pretty decent end of the season or season last year in Minnesota. So like
feels Gary Barnage-ish.
I said decent. Okay. I said decent. Okay. I think that the Jets are on the right path though. Okay. And we have them, and their records look like this: 7-10 from Aaron, 8-9 from AJ, 6-11 from Dylan, and 7-10 from myself. I'd say if the Jets ended up with any of those records, even the 6-11 from Dylan, I think that they should be jumping in the streets and being happy, because that is, if they end up with that record, that's good to me. That's good. And the step in the right directions. I have them beating Cleveland. I have them beating Miami, New England, Chicago, Detroit, Jacksonville, and Seattle. It's not like crazy wins that we pulled off the upset, but I think that they can pull off upsets, and maybe it changes from 7-10 to 8-9. But I think the Jets are on the right track. They're on the right
They're
track.
on the
gentlemen.
way.
There you
They're
go.
on the way.
There you go. They're on the way. There you go, Jets fans. All right, that does it. We have wrapped up the AFC East and all the good chatter involving these teams. Whew. It's time to get into this hockey game. It's time to get into this hockey game. I'm feeling some type of way right now.